Hey guys, what the fuck is up, you guys? My name is Dan642, and welcome to my ranking of every book, manga, comic I've read this year. Mostly manga. I haven't read that much this year, a lot less than last year, so to pad out the video, I included a couple ongoing manga that I have been reading. That maybe I mentioned last year or the year before. So those will just be honorable mentions. This year we got 4 chapters. I can't compare them to the other entries because that's significantly less than anything else. But those 4 chapters were great. I'm excited for the future of Berserk. I think the new authors are doing the best job they could do, and I'm happy with what we are getting. I have not talked about this series before. I have been reading it since shortly after it started. It's by Sui Ishida, the author of Tokyo Ghoul. I love Tokyo Ghoul, and I would say it's my favorite manga, pretty closely tied with Berserk. This series only has about 50 chapters so far, but they've been releasing consistently. The chapters vary in length and release whenever the author feels like releasing them. There are currently 8 volumes of material to sink your teeth in. It's an interesting series, the characters are good, the Chojin power system is very interesting. It has been getting better and better. We have about 50 chapters of part 2 of Chainsaw Man, which is about half of what part 1 was. I like part 2 a lot so far. It's a lot slower than part 1, and not as good in my opinion, but it's been ramping up recently, so I'm excited to see what's next. The current arc of One Piece, Egghead, is shaping up to be one of the best. It's not a super long or main saga arc, whatever, like Wano, Whole Cake, Dressrosa, whatever, those ones. But goddamn, some insane shit is happening. I was expecting more of downtime after the massive arc that was Wano, but nah. Oda and the Straw Hats are in full fucking gear with this insane arc. I like it a lot. This is what I expect from the next step and evolution of One Piece. The Tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. This book is really intriguing. It tells the backstory of Darth Plagueis and how he came to work with Darth Sidious. I did not expect the scope of how much these two control in the galaxy. It's insane how much of the Star Wars series was manipulated by them. The book is very political, much more than the prequels and any other Star Wars media I've consumed. It does politics much better, for sure. The politics are engaging, especially wondering how it leads to the sequels. There are points where the politics can get boring or can feel pointless, but most of the plot is important and leads somewhere. Plagueis and Sidious are great characters. Sidious works from behind the scenes and manipulates things with the Force, while Sidious manipulates things through politics. There were a number of already established characters who showed up unexpectedly, and it was all important and not fan service. This is a great and important book for Star Wars fans. I prefer the other Star Wars books I've read, the Thrawn trilogy and the Bane trilogy, but this is arguably the most important book in Star Wars given the fact that the groundwork for the 6 whole movies is set in stone in this book. After the Thrawn trilogy, after the Dark Empire trilogy, the Empire is still going at it, now with a new leader. In each installment, the saga follows Kir Kanos, a member of Palpatine's former royal guard. Kanos has a quest for revenge against anyone involved in the murder of Emperor Palpatine. He's a cool, badass character. It's neat to see the story from somebody loyal to the Empire. He may help the rebels, but he is still loyal to the old Empire. Part 2 was slower and focused on the political new empire, but it was still very engaging. Each part was great and held its own, unlike Empire's End and the Dark Empire trilogy. This trilogy is unique and very exciting. It's solid and offers a new perspective in the Star Wars universe. The Darth Bane trilogy has a lot to offer Star Wars fans. The books are rich with lore about the Jedi and Sith, and much about the Force. There's a lot to learn about the Force that was not in the movies. Bane is a great and terrifying character. This book sees him go from a ore miner on a outer world planet to a Sith army leader to a Sith master. These books take place about 1,000 years before the movies. During this time, the Sith is under the control of Lord Khan and his Brotherhood of Darkness. This faction is basically the Jedi Order, but for the Sith. Bane realizes this is bad and makes the Sith weak, so Bane's goal is to destroy the Sith Order and start over. The books can be disturbing too. We see this thought bomb used in the book. It's a bomb that only affects Force users. Their souls will be torn from their bodies and remain in this internal limbo in this bomb. It's quite unsettling. The final book in the Bane trilogy. This book wrapped up things very nicely. It was mainly a back and forth story between Bane and Xana. I like how characters return from previous books and add weight to the story, and it works very, very well. A lot less happened compared to Rule of Two, but what did happen was great. Bane and Xana become amazing characters, old plot lines are brought back, and the book ends in the perfect way it should have. This is a disturbing, thought-provoking, psychological horror. It's disturbing and unsettling. It's about a man who lives in his car right between a 5-star hotel and a park where homeless people live. He lives in these two different worlds of people unable to commit to either one. He goes through an experiment that drills a hole in his head to open a supposed sixth sense. He gains the ability to see people's heart or how they truly are on the inside shown on the outside. These people are called homunculi. Nikoshi interacts with multiple homunculi and cures them from their trauma through less than moral means. The series is not that long and is a quick read. Much of the pages consist of art over dialogue. Even though most of the manga is people talking, one conversation could last the entire volume. Homunculus is a very unique and important series that shows many problems with people's hearts and shows many disturbing and disgusting acts, but it's a very good read. I am not a sports fan, but I knew the series was going to be good. It's often said to be one of the greatest manga of all time, plus it was written by Takahiko Inoue, however you say that, the author of Vagabond, another manga I love. Slam Dunk made basketball really interesting and makes me want to play it. The characters are some of the best ever written. The games are on par with some of the best anime and manga fights out there. The writing and choreography is fantastic. Each game was exciting and kept you on your toes. They are emotional too. You feel the weight each character brings. Hanamichi is a great and relatable character. He goes from knowing absolutely nothing about basketball to being one of the headliners on the team. This was the first sports manga I've read, so I can't compare it to anything, but damn, the series is powerful. The anime of One Punch Man really wowed me, so I was really excited to read the manga. I love the premise a lot. Saitama is all-powerful, but he feels so empty and bored. He is consistently looking for something new and exciting in his life. The first season material of the manga is amazing. I love it. The second season material surprisingly wasn't that far off from the anime. It is the weakest from the manga, but it's still good. Now the material that has not been adapted into the anime yet is different. The Monster Association arc is fantastic. It's one of my favorite manga arcs out there. Amazing fights, amazing characters, high stakes, and it gets better and better for the about 100 chapters that it is. My two problems with this arc is, one, it loses focus of what the manga started as. In the beginning, it was Saitama's story. He is not as present in this arc as I would have liked him to be. This arc is a massive battle between the Hero Association and the Monster Association. It's similar to other big battle arcs like the second half of Chimera Ant or Marineford, other near-perfect arcs in my opinion. The second problem with this arc is many fights are too abrupt and we don't see them much. In the beginning, the first fight we see is between Child Emperor and Phoenix Man. This is an amazing fight and one of the best in the series, but so many fights right after were so short and disappointing. I mean, if every fight was as long as that first, the arc would have been twice as long. The series evolves and becomes something grander than it was in the beginning, but I hope we get to see more of Saitama's personal struggles and journeys more, like we did in the very beginning. He's such an enduring character that made the series so popular in the first place. The second book in the Bane trilogy, a lot more happens in this book. Bane takes somewhat of a backseat as we focus on many more characters, such as his apprentice Xana, her cousin Darovit, and this Jedi Knight, Johan. There's a lot going on in this book, but it all flows naturally and comes together in the end. There are many coincidences in the book, such as characters meeting other characters we are following, but it's all written so well that it makes it more interesting and makes it natural feeling. This book sees Bane train Xana and rebuild the Sith himself. It's another great book. It's dark and disturbing with many deaths. It's another great read expanding on the first book. This was the last of the big three historical seinen manga, and it of course did not disappoint. I really enjoyed the anime, and like I said last year, I wanted to catch up to the manga before watching season 2. After the events of the first arc or season, the series went into a completely new direction I was not expecting. The series is meaningful and beautiful. Thorfinn grows as a character as much as Guts or Miyamoto Musashi. He became this symbol of peace and hope, like Ken Kaneki, one of my favorite manga characters. The first arc really is the prologue to a much grander story. I knew it was going to be good, but this series still impressed me. Each of the 4 big arcs are amazing in their own ways. The series is still going strong today. The current arc is the last, and the series is heading towards an incredible ending. I'm not sure how much story is left, but the author did say the current arc is the last. Each new chapter is great and makes me excited for the next one. Look at this one. I don't think Slam Dunk I don't think it released in English at all. I read it online. I don't think it's in English at all. But it's a good series. Anyone should read it. I should read it. Also, I have and One Piece 106. Bought both of these in Japan while I was there. This was, by now I think 107's out in Japan, but this is the newest volume at the time when I was there. Yeah. Alright. Fuck you.